It's okay that you overanalyze.
Yes.
Like you there's nothing broken in you. You're fine.
Yeah. That's a normal
But
thing. I
that's
think
very
that, yeah.
normal. But no one is thinking about you as much as you. If you like the guy, just call him whenever you want. Text him whenever you want. He will tell you if you're being overbearing. So just it is kind of also boils down to the communication thing.
I know it hurts. I'm sorry. This is not recording. All right, you came to the right place, you ding dong. It's called communication, baby.
Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that's as sweet as strawberry wine. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick. Sorry, I wasn't done with my cinnamon candy.
You said you were ready.
I was, but I wasn't ready for the countdown.
Oh, here we go. 3.
No, I'm ready
2.
now. So
Okay.
we can be started.
In that case, 1, 2.
Welcome to The Count, the podcast where we just count.
Oh, that podcast would go off. It would go viral because you just every day you would count to a higher number.
1. That'd
1.
be so funny.
Gosh.
But it's not repeated. It's just.
No. Yeah. What are we doing? We're wasting our time.
That would be such a funny podcast, man. People would listen to it. You know, people would. They would. They totally would.
We could sell ads on numbers.
Dude.
Oh,
There's an ad every 5 numbers.
We make more money than every math teacher combined in like a month.
We wouldn't even be able to count the weight. We would be able to count the money because you have so much experience.
Oh,
bro, I had an Israeli pour on this. Check this out.
Oh my goodness, that's not a little drink.
No, that's a big drink.
Well, I'm happy for you. That means that this episode will be interesting.
Yeah. me halfway through the end of the episode. And another thing about Christmas.
Because if you get the women and they're talking to you, there's got to be a good time and have it go around.
Man and woman, he created them. Theology. I just start reading the theology of the body. Hammered.
We love it. Tell me.
Yeah.
You and I, we're going to see each other in how many weeks? 2 weeks?
No, 1 week.
Oh.
We see each other next week.
Dude.
Oh, wait, no. It's a week and a half. It's a week.
You excited to see me, man?
I'm excited to I'm excited to find a place to sleep on October 3rd, which I have not done yet.
How?
I know. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me, but don't come crying to me when you don't have a place to stay.
I'll find a place.
The minute that we found out about this trip, I was calling people asking for places to stay.
I'll find a place to stay.
I believe you, but I don't want to hear any guff from you.
I'll sleep on a bench. I hear Chicago has a very hospitable homeless community. What?
Sorry,
the mayor took out all the anti-homeless benches.
Chicago is probably the best place to sleep outside at night because they have very low light pollution, but very high every other kind of pollution. So you have to kind of take your pick.
You win some, you lose most, as they say.
Yeah. I can really see the stars, but I have to sleep in a pile of human feces. Worth
it.
Are you excited to see me is the question.
Of course. I've gotten so used to seeing you once every at least 3 months now.
Are you excited to spend a night at my house?
Yeah, I am excited to see your house.
That's going to be so cool. I was talking to my neighbors about it, and they were like, we're excited to meet Patrick. We want to hang out with Patrick. Like, they're so cool. They're jazzed to see you, man.
I forgot that I get to go hang out with people. That's so fun.
It's a people time.
I'm just looking. This happened on the pilgrimage too, because I'm like, I don't want to go. When I'm there, I'm like, yay! Yeah. And then I come home and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I'm not there anymore. Because I feel that way right now. Because I'm doing an excursion, right? You know this. You're gonna be with me for half of it. Well, I have a work conference for DE.
Yes.
And then we had the summit in Chicago, and it just so happened we have a live show that got booked right in between. It was perfect.
Right in the middle.
Perfect.
Patrick and I are doing a live show in Oklahoma City for a bunch of unwilling young adults.
You should come.
You should be there. If you're in Oklahoma City and you haven't signed up, it's at this really bougie coffee shop. They have avocados, and they're Avocados.
In the coffee?
Avocado.
Oh. They have
And
avocados.
they've got avocados, and it's very nice. And we're going to perform. Me and Patrick are going to perform. We're not actually going to do our normal dating podcast like we're doing today. We're going to present for the first time. Big announcement.
Oh.
First time, big announcement. Our interpretive dance that we've been working on.
Yes.
And
yes, me and Ethan individually, without consulting one another, have choreographed the same dance.
And it's 20 minutes of Patrick doing the dirty dancing lift with me over and over again. And each time he gets less and less strength in his arms. And so I just get lower and lower and lower every time. And people they've paid money for this, and it's going to be awesome.
Hundreds.
Yes.
They've paid hundreds.
Yeah. So there's a cover charge if you're under 21, but we'll make it work.
Sure.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you to hold my midsection.
Yeah. Gently. Wait, are we?
What?
So is it?
Huh?
Is it? So like we're holding each other's midsection, or just me?
You are hoisting me as Patrick Swayze would hoist Princess Diana in Dirty Dancing. What's her name?
I don't think she was in that movie.
Jennifer Connelly?
I think she was
Dirty. Dirty Dancing.
Who was Dirty Dancing?
Who girl Dirty Dancing? Jennifer Grey. Whose name is Baby, and nobody thought that was weird in 1987.
Her name was Baby?
Yes, nobody puts Baby in a corner.
I thought that was just...
I thought that was from Boss Baby.
I thought that was just a nickname. Anyway, so welcome to the Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner edition of our podcast. This is our second show we do every week. First show of the week on Sunday, we solve the world's problems. On Wednesday, we solve your problems. And then on Friday, we talk about our problems. If you want all three instead of 2/3 of the podcast that you're getting now, go support us on Patreon.
Patreon.com/crunch. But we have questions today that people have written in, and they go to a little place that we like to call our Discord. And it's bit.ly/crunch Discord to join.
Oh, yeah. I meant to go to the Discord, not the...
Are we at 600
By the
members?
time of this reading, by the time people listen to this, we're at 598 right now. But by the time people listen to this, we'll probably be at 600.
We are just about to cross 600 members in our Discord community. And it's been awesome to see the community grow and people having good conversations. Yeah. People getting into different aspects of the faith.
I post about it on Instagram every time every 1,000 followers, I post it on Instagram again, so the new people get it.
Nice.
And so we're about to hit 24K on Instagram, which again is crazy. And so I'm going to post it again soon. I'm excited for a 25K celebration. That's a quarter of 100,000.
What should we do? Should we say la 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 bamba?
La 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 bamba. Yeah, we should do.
We should do. How about this? I have an idea. That's me calling you with my idea. Yeah. We should do an Instagram live from the airport together.
Yo, we totally should. Yeah, we should really push. We should push for that because wasn't our big goal like 26 by I think
it was 25. Yeah, it was like we were going to get 25K by the summit, and we'll be right around there. So we should definitely celebrate, and we should get everyone to come on in, and we'll have a little Bluetooth speaker, and we'll dance, and we'll go up to people and we'll prank them, and we'll be like, loser says what, and they'll be like what, and we'll be like. And then we'll run away.
We'll just have someone film us at going to Keith. Go, what, Keith? What now? Huh? What? And he would have trouble keeping a straight face. He thinks we're so funny.
Keith does think we're funny. If I didn't have Keith, I don't know what I would do.
Dude, I have a friend like that. So I have a friend like that at.
You have a Keith in your life?
I have a Keith in my men's group. I don't know what it is, but every time I make a joke, he laughs. It is great. His name's Javi. Shout out Javi. He and I got lunch the other day. It was great. I told you about that. I just texted him. I was like, yo, let's get lunch. And I was like, this is nice. I haven't done that since college. I haven't had friends to get lunch with. Everybody I ate lunch with is over the age of 40. Working in parishes. Not that that's any problem. Anyway. But I had a really great joke at men's group. He was like, someone was talking about like comparing themselves to others. You know, they were like, oh, I see other people and their prayer life and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you know what they say about comparison? Comparison is great. You should do it all the time. And he like almost spit out his beer. He thought it was that funny.
That's really funny.
And I
It's
was
always
like,
good to have a friend like that around because it
yeah, it's
just
important
for
because
guys like us, we are so plagued by fears and thoughts of inadequacy. And so when you
wives that
have
are used to it by now, so they don't laugh as hard.
Oh, the wives that are used to it. We've talked about this before, though. The best feeling is to catch a wife that's used to it off guard so that she like really has a full belly laugh. It happens so rarely.
I got Phoebe really good today. I got her so good. It was physical comedy though, so I'm worried there's a trend. I got this little bloody knuckle there because of this. So I was doing like a little bit with Leo. Every time I go he goes and he runs because he knows like I'm doing something. And so I was like, Phoebe was like holding him, and I popped up from behind the counter, and I was like and he was like and every time he did that, and I would like pop up from different points of the counter, so it looked like I was teleporting. It was very funny. And then at one point, instead of going above the counter, I just punched the counter as if I hit my head and went and Phoebe like lost it. She thought that
That's
was so
really funny.
But
every time that happens, the boys have to hold a press conference, and it's just like, ladies and gentlemen, we got her, and all the boys are like, yeah,
you did it, let's go,
woohoo,
huge.
So anyway, but that's not important because we are married and we don't need dating advice, but we're here advice to give it. We're here to dish it out. And I'm ready for that first.
When the Logos guys asked you if we were dating when we started giving dating advice, that was really funny. They kind of like, "Oh, were you in relationships?" And I was like, "Ethan wasn't."
I wasn't, but it wasn't a podcast about dating advice. It was a podcast just about dating. Yeah, which I think anybody is qualified to talk about. Clearly,
because we made a career out of it. So,
but before we get into it, I just want to say I want to thank Gather, the Catholic dating app, for sponsoring this episode of the Crunch Catholic Podcast. If you are single and maybe some of these questions we're about to talk about tug on your heartstrings, you're like, maybe I want to find a beau or a boo, you go to Gather, go to comegather.app and download the Gather app, and they're great, and you should find someone on the app.
This is a great segue into our first question, Ethan. I could use some advice. I'm thinking about getting a dating app and seeing what happens.
Oh, boy, do we have the app for you.
At the same time, I'm a full-time college student. I've got a job, so I really don't know how much time or energy I'll be able to put into a dating app or dating period. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm tired of being single, but I don't want to go through the whole process of getting to know someone, having to judge whether or not they're a good person for me to be around, etc. Basically, I'm on the fence. I need some advice to help make a decision about whether or not I should start trying to find someone. Ethan, what do you think the gender of this person is?
A woman.
You think it's a woman?
I do. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so too. I was getting female vibes.
Yeah.
No guy has ever been like, I don't want to go through the work of finding a pretty girl who likes me.
I want to eat a sandwich, but I don't want to go through the process of like getting the bread and the meat and the cheese.
Economies have been built up around this desire to want something but not want it bad enough.
Yes, I think that's just economy. Like the concept of economy exists because you want something, but you either can't or won't do it yourself. So let's rewind. So obviously, number one, download the Gather dating app, right? Like, let's give it a shot. Who knows who you'll find at the parish, down the street. But if you're not willing to do that, here's some other things. So you say that you want to date. Let's just go. There's a few assumptions in this post that I don't like. Number one, I'm a full-time college student. You go to class for 12 hours a week. You're not a full-time college student. Miss me with that. There's no such thing.
Unless you do it for 15 or 18.
Sure, but like you can get all of your work done in less than 40 hours. So there's no sense saying full-time. So I understand that like you don't do anything other than be a student except your job that you also have. So you're not really a full-time student because you have part-time work that you do in addition to being full-time. Anyway, you're not that busy is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you have a job. I'm super lenient on high schoolers. And then immediately when they graduate, I'm like, stop being a baby. You have more free time now than you ever will, ever, forever, your entire life.
Because in high school, you get dropped off at a Soviet prison for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you leave, and then you have some type of after school activity, and then you got to like help your brother, learn algebra. and then you gotta go to bed. It's like, yeah, you're busy. Like there's a lot going on.
In college, you live expense free in a utopia where
You
everyone is
live
young and cute and your age.
and you're not responsible for anyone other than
Anything.
yourself.
Yeah.
And you also live in a Soviet prison, but it has hot women in it, and so you forget that you're in a
You
Soviet
feel
prison.
better about it. You live in a
Yeah.
Huxleyan dream, whereas in high school you're in an Orwellian nightmare.
Yes, high school is 1984, college is Brave New World.
Everyone
People have
knows.
said
And
this.
the real world is that hideous string. Go on.
You are busy and there's a lot going on. I get that. But you're not too busy for a dating app. Like dating app is the lowest friction way to date. You know what you can go to the toilet for 15 minutes a day and use up all of your swipes.
This is a woman. She's not going for 15 minutes a day.
How long are women in the bathroom for?
Much less than that. Men are in the toilet for like 45 minutes a day.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, regardless, when you're powdering your nose or some other nonsense, you can be swiping. And
swiping and wiping.
Women spend time doing other things. So there's enough downtime in the day for you to get on the app and try to make some matches. And it's not like, I don't know. It's one of those things where we thought that we didn't have time to like post on Instagram, and then we did. And then we thought that we didn't have time to like have kids, and then we did. We thought that we didn't have time to and then you did. It's like, if it's important enough to you, you'll figure out a way to do it. And that's the fundamental thing here. It's like, finding a relationship important enough to you that you will spend your spare moments on the app, or are you going to powder your nose and be like, man, I wish I was dating right now, when you could be powdering with one hand, swiping with the other. Do you see what I'm saying?
Swiping with one hand and wiping with the other.
Swiping and wiping.
That's what I was saying.
You were saying that earlier. That needs to be our new slogan for the podcast.
It's called swiping and wiping, baby.
It's called swiping and wiping. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Come gather.app. I don't know if the Gather app wants to be associated with such lurid acts as swiping and wiping.
Listen, swiping and wiping may be lurid, but it is effective. All right. It's okay. People get down.
It's maximizing
people get down
productivity.
On Tinder.
Yeah.
People get down on Tinder all the time. They're like, oh, it's superficial. It's like, look, listen. It's the most efficient way.
It is. Lady. I think you have time, and it's just up to you whether or not you have the desire. Like, you can fit in dating. And the last thing I want to say about this is, I don't want to go through the process of getting to know someone. How do you think you're going to be in a relationship if you don't go through the process of getting to know someone and deciding whether
either that or date that guy that you're hanging out with all the time?
Exactly. Like, you just have to decide that
you like attention from him. Just date him. You already know you like him as attention.
Like, just that has to be a process no matter what. So like, you're either going to do it now when you're young and virile, or you're going to do it later when you're old and out of college. And so
senile.
Old and senile. The virile senile spectrum.
Continuum.
It
begins at 25 and it ends at 35.
It's X and Y axis, and it's virile and senile, and swipe and wipe are the two axes of the graph. And you want to be up here at wipe and
how much swiping versus wiping are you doing?
You're swiping when you're virile, and you're wiping when you're senile, or ideally you're having someone else wipe when you're senile. If you get into one of those good nursing homes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I hope that helps. I'm sorry that you're going through that. I know you're busy. You can do this. You really can. You have the time. Just choose it.
Anyone from new rule, anyone who is in college, you also need to tell us your major, because if you're like biology, engineering, anything that not electrical, anything that requires a lot of time.
What are you trying to say? My degree took time.
Nothing gone. If you're like a theology, if you're like a theology major, miss me with that. You have time.
What's wrong with being an electrical engineer, man?
Nothing. No, you obviously had time to grow a burgeoning Twitter account and podcast empire.
Burgeoning. I did grow it, but I also cheated in my classes. So who's to say?
That's a good
who
point,
has time for what?
I'm really glad you're not building any electrical bridges, because I would not want to cross them.
Yeah, I would never. I'd be like Static Shock. All right, I'm ready.
Like Warner Brothers Static Shock. All right, there's a girl I'd like to ask out. I know she doesn't like coffee or ice cream.
Okay,
so that's off the table. So don't get her an avocado. I have plenty of other ideas. walk in the park, bowling, mini golf, stargazing. Stargazing is good. But I'm not exactly sure what would interest her most. I don't want to bombard her with a ton of vague options. I'm at college, small town, so options are a bit limited, but cities with more interesting things are within 1 to 1.5 hour drive. From what I know, this girl tends to be quiet, but something of a competitive side. She likes physical activities. Something that would provide springboards for conversation would be ideal. Any ideas?
This is a good question. I like
Really
this.
good
This is
question.
tactical. This is great.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is this
This
is
is
not
not theory.
abstract.
This
Yeah.
is like, what is a good first date? Help. Go. Hiking. Hiking
Yeah,
is
hiking
great.
hiking is good if you have good local hiking. I would avoid going to the city. You don't want to be in the car for 2 to 3 hours on a first date because you have to drive there, go
Yeah.
on the date, and then drive back. And what if it sucks? Like that's just
Yeah. It's
that's
too
just really
risky.
awkward. So don't go to the city. Wipe that out of your brain.
Although it sounds like he does like her and knows a
Sure.
lot about her. And so it's possible that this has a little more than just like first date,
Right.
you know?
Right. So I
So if
mean, you
you
can always
know
use
she
your
like
judgment.
really wants to go see something in the city, maybe go for it, you know?
Right. If she's a huge
Billy
Pittsburgh
Joel. Oh,
Steelers fan, and you want to
yeah.
take her like, hey, I got tickets to the Steelers game.
Or if you're friends with someone who's a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan and she suckers you into going to a game with her and you just hang out with her the whole time because you're not really that into baseball. That was me and Phoebe.
Phoebe's into baseball?
No, it was her friend who was really into baseball.
Ah, I see. Anyway.
And Holly was sitting there the whole time like,
that's me.
And we were just like, and we're sitting there just laughing like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And she's like, shut up.
Another churro, please, good sir.
Andrew McCutcheon is up to bat.
Have you
He had a grand slam.
Have you seen the reel or the Vine or the TikTok or whatever it is of the Chicago Cubs hot dog guys?
Hot dog, yeah.
And it's like it's a bunch of guys going, hot dogs, get your hot dogs here, hot dogs, yacht dogs. And then about like 4 or 5 guys into it, there's this really short, really old guy that just goes, hot dogs. It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life.
Hot dogs!
Hot dogs! And he's just screaming. Oh, it's so funny. So that's what I imagined that you were going through. Hiking is good. It's hard because you don't want to do something too competitive because you don't want to be upset with each other. So putt might be nice. Bowling might be nice, but bowling is hard because not everybody's good at bowling. And so that might be like a more frustrating, everyone's kind of equally bad at putt. So you got to pick something that it's like either that you both like or you're really good at putt.
So good. Phoebe is kind of competitive. I'm not as competitive.
Yeah.
You crush the floor with Phoebe at mini golf like frequently, and it became like a point of contention where I'd have to be like, oh man, I whiffed it. Oh, that sucks. Crazy. And she would catch on, and I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You could also do, if she's like a board game person, you could do board games. That's a pretty easy one.
Fun.
We just got Em and I just got this game.
Play the love game. There's a rom-com board game. Have you seen this one?
No.
It's like you play the plot of a rom-com. It's kind of cute.
I was going to recommend, Emma and I just got this game called Lost Cities, which is very fun. It's a 2-person game, very easy to pick up. So just like, I just Googled like 2-person games for couples. So like you could do that.
Yeah.
Like Patrick said, you could go hiking. Stargazing is a great idea. You could do a hike that ends in a stargaze. That would be nice. Bring a bottle of wine, some cheese, something.
You can't you can't do like hiking at night.
No, you can't. Though. You can't really hike at night. But if you bring the little headlamps, you can.
That's still, depending on where you are, be careful.
Patrick, we're not their dad. These are adult people that we're talking to.
You could get stuck in the woods and you could fall down a cliff you don't know is there. And
I didn't know you were a freaking liberal, bro. Like, let people do things. Do you know what I'm saying?
They can do whatever they want. It's just hey, for our first date, I was thinking we could go deep into the woods at night.
No, hey, for our first date, I was thinking that we could do this really cool hike where it ends in a stargaze, but I was afraid that we would twist our ankles, so we're gonna stay inside. Like, no, what are you talking about? Go out and have a good time. Have fun. Put on a headlamp. You're invincible. The bears aren't coming. You're gonna be okay.
Just talk the whole time.
Just talk the whole time. You'll never lose each other in the woods.
Bears don't like talking. They are
Bears don't like
very
talking.
socially anxious.
Just the biggest thing is don't go to the city, and you know this girl, we don't. So like pick the thing that you think she would like the best. At the end of the day, if you plan it and you tell her like I'm going to pick you up at this time and we're going to go here, dress this way, she will be pleased with the event. She will be glad to be doing something, even if it's not exactly like the number one thing that she would have wanted to do. She'll be glad to have been taken on an experience that has been planned thoughtfully for her.
Yes.
And even if she doesn't like actively dislikes the experience, she will appreciate the date and probably go on another one with you if she likes you.
Some women just want you to plan things for them.
Yes.
I would say I would go as far to say most,
if not all. So yeah, man.
Quick insight from the alt accounts on Twitter. One of our friends was talking about how like it was like a guy was like, I just want her to tell me like what she wants. Like I'm asking her where she wants to go to dinner because I want to go where she wants to go for dinner. And someone said like the biggest thing that I learned in my marriage as a woman, the biggest thing I learned in my marriage was how to say what I want is to not make this decision.
Yes.
Sometimes just make the decision. And if she really wants to go to Beef O'Brady's, she'll go to Beef O'Brady's.
Sometimes
the local chain.
All the gentlemen lean in. Ladies, plug your ears for a second. Yeah. Sometimes the sexiest thing you can do as a guy is be decisive. You just got to be decisive. It does not matter if it's a good or bad decision. I mean, it kind of does.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah,
it does it. But just decide.
I decided to put all of our money into crypto. Come here.
Dang. Come here, babe.
Come here, babe. Good news. I was pretty to say. You know how you've been worried about our finances? I took care of it. Dogecoin to the moon.
Hey, give me a hug on the blockchain right now. Hug me on the chain. Hug me on my wallet. Hug me in my crypto wallet. Yeah. Give me a. How about an NFT? How about an NFT? A no female time token.
Give me a bit smooch. That's a new.
Give me a. How about give me a. Anyway, what's the next question?
Good news, Ethan.
Tell me.
Some of our listeners have already started downloading the Gather app.
The Gather app that's sponsoring this episode of the Crunch Catholic Podcast?
Yes, which means statistically speaking, you are more likely to find someone who shares your taste in podcasts and is probably highly compatible and also very intelligent, good sense of humor, etc. So you should probably go to comegather.app. What was it? Comegather.app now.
There you go.
Thanks. I almost said .app.com, but it's just .app.
It's really just app. Comegather.app, and you can download the app that is sweeping the nation. And by the nation, I mean the audience of the Crunch Catholic Podcast. Lots of people have downloaded it. They've shared their feedback with us. Some people are swiping, they're meeting, they're matching, and you could be a part of this. The Gather app is different than a lot of other Catholic dating apps out there. First of all, it's free. And I can't think of a better selling point.
I mean,
than that. Right.
You don't have to pay anything to download it or set up your profile. Just go do that.
And the best thing about it is that it makes it easy for single Catholics to meet each other. There could be someone in the parish across town that is perfect for you, but you would never know. You would have no clue.
Because you're not on the app.
Because you're not on the comegather.app.
And this is, we say this, this is the advice we give on Dr. Zane and Corner all the time, right? It's like, you say you're looking for a spouse, right? It's like, all right, look, say you're looking for a spouse. You got to put in some, if there's an app out there, you got to be on it. You never know. All right. Check the app. This is a new app. I sound like Donald Trump is what's happening. I'm talking like Donald Trump. Do you feel that?
Do the rest of the ad like Donald.
Nope. I was like prepared for it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. They say they can't make me. You know, they said, Don, you got to show up in Georgia. You got to. We can't do an arraignment joke in an ad, can we?
I don't think we can do anything.
We give advice.
I just want people to go to comegather.app.
We give this advice on the podcast all the time. All the time. If you want to find your spouse and you're not on the apps, you need to get on the apps. And the best place to start is comegather.app because 80% of users are like daily mass Catholics. It's not like an app full of people who like kind of are church teaching, kind of, you know. You might get a few, swipe them away. Go find the 80% that are daily mass goers. Meet the daily mass Catholics. Find your spouse.
This is the place to be. The Gather app is the next big thing in Catholic dating. The first big thing was the Crunch Discord. That maybe has run its course. But I think if you can migrate from the Crunch Discord, from our little community to a community where you're meeting other people, the Gather app is the best place to do it. So go to the comegather.app, download it, make a profile, and just try it out. You never know unless you try. Thank you so much to Gather, the Catholic dating app, at comegather.app for sponsoring this episode of the Crunch Catholic Podcast.
Get to smooching. ETH stands for you can't spell ETH without Ethan. All right. Anyway,
you can't spell Ethereum without Ethan on the Crunch Podcast.
We have a quick update. Should I do another question on the update?
Yeah, do the update last. Let's do the other questions.
This has probably been asked before, but does anybody have any tips on how to not over? Does anyone have any tips on how to not overanalyze everything? My millennial voice. Sorry. Sorry, Lauren. That happened.
Dude, we were on a podcast today. And Patrick and I made this joke about sending millennials to concentration camps, and I don't think it went over well. Like I thought
it was so funny.
It was a really funny joke.
The millennials after getting packed onto the train. That happened.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. I was really trying to like keep a straight face because these two seminarians, they look so uncomfortable. Like I really think we like went a little bit too far. But it's just like, can you imagine just a bunch of millennials like laying in these bunk houses being like, awkward silence, anybody?
Looking at the guards like, you guys are the Death Eaters and we're Harry Potter. All right. They shoved the cell door. Aloha Mora.
Oh my goodness. They're on the train.
Does this
they're like,
rule have any epic bacon strips?
They're on the train and they're like, can I buy some Bertie's beans on this train? On the Hogwarts Express? Oh my goodness. They see like,
so they're like in the bunks and they're like, so which one of you is like a Rachel?
they see stains on their mattress, like dirty mattress, like, oh, it's a hidden Mickey.
Man, that's really good.
Gosh, that's so funny.
They're like on their third hour of breaking rocks. They're like, it's wine o'clock. Am I right?
The guard wakes them up. It's like, oh, it's time for your manual labor for the day. They're like, not until I've had my coffee.
Not until I've had my coffee.
Oh man,
I did not major in. Never mind. That one's too.
Dude, I think it's so funny. We're on the cutting edge because people are still being racist against boomers, but we are leading the charge.
I did not this job is beneath me. I majored in quantum gender theory. All right.
Dude, we need to
take that bit on the road.
Do you know about the civil rights movement?
I've heard of it.
We need to have an anti-civil rights movement, but just for millennials. Any race, any creed, doesn't matter. Get them out of here.
Oh man.
Gosh, it's so funny. If you're a millennial, I'm sorry, but it's too much.
It's too
There's too much ammo. It's so easy. It's free. It's free. What do you expect from us?
So easy, man.
And this is not about the question asker. This is your question just reminded us of this thing that we said earlier. All right,
I'm sorry, question asker. It sounds like we've clowned on you and put you in a concentration camp for the last.
That's not what we meant. That's not what we meant. We were talking about something else.
I'm sorry, Lauren. We're talking about something. That was that was someone else. That was so awkward that you thought that. Oh man. This has probably been asked before, but does anybody have any tips how to not overanalyze everything? I'm started talking casually with a guy past few days over text. We also see each other, talk in person right now. I'm just trying to see if he's interested in me. I'm already finding myself overanalyzing a lot of things. Maybe a symptom of my lack of experience with this. But any advice, especially on how to go about texting a guy you're interested in, is welcome. And then a guy said, vice versa. How do you know if a girl is interested? Man, I'm clueless. Ethan, what do you think?
Okay, so we'll do the girl question first, then we'll do the guy question.
She deserves it. We clowned on her on accident.
We did. How do you not overanalyze? Just don't. Like that doesn't work. This is like a male female thing. Like
it's 100% easier to not do something.
So I think it's hard because when you're in that beginning phase of you like someone and you're talking to them, it's really easy to let your imagination run wild. And you're thinking about like, oh, this is what our kids would look like. And this is where we would buy a house. And like, that's at least that's what I would do. Like I would imagine like my marriage with these women that I had been texting for a week because I was just so infatuated so quickly. And some part of that is normal. But at a certain point, like if you recognize that you're overanalyzing, it's the same thing as any other mental process that is a habit that needs to be interrupted. So you just have to recognize what you're doing. Like, oh, I'm overanalyzing this, or I'm thinking about it too much. I know I like him. I'm pretty confident he likes me. I'm just going to text him back, or I'm just going to call him at this point, and I'm not going to read into every little thing. And then you just stop yourself. And then eventually you'll probably start overanalyzing again. And you just stop yourself, and then you just overanalyze again. And there's not really a way, unless you train your will. Like this is a part of your like you have a mental process that's in place for some reason because of some way that you've lived your life up until this point. And so instead of saying like I'm not going to overanalyze, just say, okay, part of my response when I'm in the situation is to overanalyze. That has negative repercussions because of X, Y, and Z. So when I notice myself overanalyzing, I'm just going to stop, offer up the situation to the Lord, and just respond as best I can and keep going about my day. And that's just like a good habit for any type of mental wheel that you get stuck on, whether it's like procrastination or whether it's like self-doubt or whether it's anything. You just have to like interrupt it and move on.
It's a super hard thing to say, but you just gotta think about yourself less.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've had trouble with myself. You ever you
ever get clowned on by a very famous Catholic speaker and then spend the rest of the day fumigating?
It wasn't the speaker thing. It was the thing that happened after.
I know. But I'm not saying that you're wrong for doing that. It's okay to think about these things, but
yeah.
Sometimes
I also was more stressed about other things. Today was a very stressful day.
Oh,
on top of it. No. Oh, no. It's not a big deal. It's my job was like a lot. It's a lot. Stress is like a product of like having a lot of options and not a lot of time, right? And so like I had a lot of things to do and not a lot of time to do it. And so it's not
anxiety is a result of having a lot of options and too much time, and you don't know where to go.
Depression.
What to do? You feel anxiety.
Sure.
Aimlessness, maybe.
Great. That's fair. So I've started thinking, I've started being like, I should start thinking about myself less. Have you ever? This is where I was saying. Have you ever like texted someone like 5 days after a conversation, like, hey, I was thinking about it and I was wrong to like say that, and they're like, oh. It's all good. Like I didn't even notice. You ever had that happen?
I don't text that, but I have people explain, like, say to me in my life, like out loud, they'll call me like, I'm sorry about this. Like, I've forgotten about that. I don't even
I
remember.
didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't even register it at the time. But cool, thanks.
A
And I was talking to
key.
someone about this on the pilgrimage. I was like, hey,
Mhm.
if I am annoyed by you, that says nothing about you and
Exactly.
everything about me. Like, and so it's like, oh, did he think that I was being awkward, or like, oh, does this mean that he likes me? Like, was he doing this because of me? Maybe, probably not. Most people act because of themselves. So, um, you got to think about yourself less, and that's a huge hurdle that everybody has to get over.
A key tenet of the
Even in
Crunch Catholic
flirting.
podcast dating curriculum is nobody thinks about you as much as you think about you. Nobody. There is not a single person on the planet, no one,
Not
that
even your
thinks about,
mother.
not even your mother, not even your spouse. Like, nobody thinks about you as much as you. So
Yeah.
if you're overanalyzing, if you're stressed out, if you're worried about how you're coming across, that guy that you're texting is probably like, dude, there's this girl that's texting me and she's like really smart and really funny and she's pretty and I don't know why she's texting me and maybe I'm being awkward and like, should I like shave? Should I get a nose job? Should I get a nip tuck? Like, he's thinking about all these things about himself.
A nip tuck.
I know it was a show on TBS. I don't know what it
Nip
is.
and tuck. A nip tuck sounds awful.
Nip tuck sounds like the name of two young protagonists in a novel set in the 1800s.
Nip and tuck.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Thank you. I'd like to have jokes.
I always thought it'd be fun to like name, like, if your last name was Hicks, it'd be fun to like name your son Braxton.
Braxton Hicks, like the contractions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Braxton is my go-to millennial child name.
Right. Yeah.
They're all huddled on the train. Where's my son Braxton? Where's my son Brinley with 2 Y's? That's funny.
There's a lot more to say. If we were on the bonus podcast, I would make a couple jokes, but I'm not gonna, because it's live.
Patreon.com/thecrunch.
Patreon.com/thecrunch, and I'm trying to be better about the things that we say. But you can overanalyze all you want. That's okay. It's okay that you overanalyze.
Yes.
Like, you there's nothing broken in you. You're fine.
Yeah. That's a normal thing. I think
that's very normal. Yeah. But no one is thinking about you as much as you. If you like the guy, just call him whenever you want. Text him whenever you want. He will tell you if you're being overbearing. So just it is kind of also boils down to the communication thing. So what was the guy question? The guy question was, how do I know when a girl likes me? Is that really what it was?
When she marries you, and even then,
are we 14? What? How do I know when she likes me? What do you mean?
Hey,
what do you mean?
Look at me.
Deliver roses to her house with a note.
We've been good to you, Miguel. I know this for a fact. We've been good to you. We've given you good advice. When you are looking for is certainty. Who told you get that here?
Yeah, there's
whoever told you get certainty in this life was lying to you or selling you something. Mm-hmm. I know. I sell people things. Talk a lot about certainty, and there's no certainty in this world. No. So go for it, man. The worst thing that she can say is no. It's not like she's going to steal your identity. That can only happen once.
It's looking back. It's this weird thing when you're married, because you look back at your relationships and the decisions that you made, and they all seem so trivial in relation to where you're at
in hindsight, because you're like,
in hindsight, obviously, because it's like, and you think like, oh, if I was back in that situation, I would have handled it totally differently. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I am where I am now, so I can't change the past. But it's like, I spent so much time when I was in college, like worrying and fretting about like, what if these people see me out on a date with this girl, or what if like I actually ask her out and she says no, or what if I do like her, and like, what would that mean for my life? Like, just all of this, like, what if, and so much time would have been saved instead of like trying to ironically ask girls out as a bit, or like just be friends with them to the point where they would just like decide that they like me and tell me. Like, if I had just asked girls out and followed through and like stayed friends with girls that I didn't want to ask out, then like my life would have been so much cleaner. It would have been so much happier. and I would have been more respected. Like I probably would have been more well liked by the women that I liked because they would have known that I meant what I said.
Yeah.
Instead, what I was like this guy that just flirted with everybody and never committed to anything and was just kind of seen as an unserious, goofy person. And it's like, fine, like, I don't care. Like, I'm whatever, I am where I am
It's
now. I don't
over.
really,
Yeah.
it's over. Yeah. But like, if I could go back, I would have handled it totally differently because now I know, like, you just have to say what you want and like, and nothing bad will happen if you do. Like, there's no repercussions. The only things that happen are good things. Like either women go out with you or they like talk positively about you to their friends. You know what I mean? Like there's no way to lose. And so you're sitting here wringing your hands like, oh, what if she likes me? Dude, whatever. It
doesn't
really
matter.
like whatever. It's so it sounds dumb now and you're like, that isn't, but my situation is different. It's not. Everyone's situation is the same.
Every guy's the same spot.
Every guy is the same. It sounds ridiculous. Like I know if I was listening to this and I was 20, I'd be like, those freaking guys, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But we do.
I promise. I promise.
We do.
If you want to know about our opinions on how to raise teenagers, we don't know what the hell we're talking about. But when it comes to dating, we at least know a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the update?
Yes.
This update was so bad that it made me respond in the topics channel.
It made me respond in the dating corner chat, which I never respond in because I like to leave it unsullied, because I don't read anything that goes in the dating corner because I let you read them to me live.
Follow up to Pig Boy from 9/20. So this is a week later.
This is from last week.
We were wrong. Apparently, we were wrong.
We were big wrong.
I listened to the episode where you answered my question. I love we're just like where we know a few things and we're like, well, anyway, last week we were wrong. We're incorrect about something.
Sometimes things are different than what we think.
I listened to the episode where you answered my question after the situation had resolved. It was pretty funny how wrong you guys were and how wrong every person I talked to about the situation was. Ha. Yeah, ha. Very funny.
Ha.
Good news is everyone I know is referring to him as Pig Boy now. We've ruined this man's life. So now that makes me feel better. Basically, Pig Boy kept texting me random conversation starters, sending me pictures of his new puppy, asking if I wanted to hang out so he can meet her. I'm wondering if he keeps adopting new pets so he can meet women. Oh, boy. I figured he wanted to ask me out, but didn't know how, so I gave him a call. My plan was to ask him for clarity, since his actions were mixed signals, and then let him know that he can ask me on a date if he's really interested in getting to know me. When I asked for clarity, he told me he was never interested in me and made a move because I'm a Catholic girl that lives nearby, and, quote, that's all he was really looking for.
Insane behavior. Lock this guy up in the millennial concentration camp because...
Dude,
that is nuts.
I
invited you over to look at my piglets and we tried to watch Stranger Things together and I tried to kiss you, but it wasn't because I like you. It's because you lived near me. That's psychopathic, dude. I can't imagine someone, if you're a guy and you know this guy, can you give him a talking to, please? Like, can someone rough him up?
Dude, there was a way to get out of that would have made you save face and would have made her feel better about herself. Okay?
Yeah.
I have done it before. And I could let you know if you asked me, but you didn't. I'll tell Ethan after the show. But yeah, there's a way to get out of like, oh, I actually didn't like this girl, but I did a lot of things that made it look like I did. There's a way to get out of that situation.
Right.
There's a way to get out of that situation in a way that makes her feel better about herself because there's no way. See, Ethan's got the way.
Wait till after the show.
Ethan's got the way to like for a girl to figure out if a guy likes her. Guys, if there's a girl that you like expressed interest in but didn't, it's just I need to apologize to you because I went after you only because you're pretty. And there was really nothing there besides that. And so that was wrong of me. It makes her feel good because she's pretty.
It does make her feel good.
It makes her feel good because she's pretty. And say it if it's true, obviously. Like, I need to apologize to you because I went after you because you were the most beautiful girl that was an option.
I went after you because I wanted
to
be like two piglets in the mud with you. It might have been what he was thinking.
I didn't say that to get out of a situation. I said that to a girl that I liked like much later in our friendship, like years after things had gone, and she was feeling really down. And I said that, and it like seemed to really make her feel better about herself. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's good. Like at least like, it was affirming, but it was affirming in a platonic way. And it's a great way to like break any kind of like, oh, I think he might like me. It's like, no, he just straight up said that he thought I was pretty. And that's the only reason why he liked me. So that kind of breaks things into a platonic way. That makes
Patrick,
sense. Yeah.
I wanted to apologize. I started podcasting you because I thought you were pretty. But I don't think that there's
We were anonymous Twitter accounts. You didn't know what I looked like.
I knew what you looked like. You look like Flynn Rider. You look like Flynn Rider.
You pulled up that Google Meet and you were like, ooh.
I pulled out that Google Meet and I was like, man, that kid should grow a beard fast.
Fast. Has a round face.
I can't imagine what you'd look like sans beard now. Now that you have one, I can't even imagine you without it. What if we showed up to the summit in Chicago completely clean shaven? That would be pretty funny. Bald head. What if we
who are these
what if we just
little
got waxed?
Children up on the stage? Yeah. I was so happy they asked us to do a panel. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Oh man, I'm not just here. I'm not just an attendee.
Oh, thank goodness.
You were worried that we would just be people instead of performers.
I want to be on a stage, Ethan. I want fame and lights. Riches I heed not.
But man's empty praise.
Empty praise.
That's actually that should be our podcast tagline.
Riches I heed not. Man's empty praise, on the other hand.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
That's a really funny reel, actually. If you could find
I made it it was a meme.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Riches I heed not. Man's empty praise, on the other hand.
If you had like a sound that was like two sides, you could be like, and then it would get 15,000 views probably.
15,000.
So that's a good update. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Wait, I don't think. Wait, hold on. That wasn't it.
Okay. Well, finish it up because we're about at time here.
I told him I was interested in him and I wanted him to actually get to know me and not just try to kiss me because it was convenient. He said, "Yeah, that's pretty much all it was." And then he said we can still hang out and I can still play with his puppy if I want to.
Dude has the social grace of a cinder block.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah, it's pretty much I just wanted to kiss you
if you want.
Yeah.
Homeboy is 28, acting here like he is 14 years old. So safe to say I'm not interested. Your comments definitely validated for me that I didn't read too much into his actions though. Haha. So thank you for that. Not a pig girl anymore. Thank you. And I said, boo, that's the worst thing I've read today, even though it's only 7:30 a.m. It's the worst thing I read.
I'm glad that you're free of pig boy. We get out of there. Don't go back. Pig boy.
That's really funny.
Anybody who tries to watch Stranger Things with you unprompted, I don't feel safe around. Like, why do you want to watch a long series of an 11-year-old girl without shoes on? Like, really?
Weird.
Like what's going on here?
Weird.
What's going on here?
Why do you want to kiss a girl if you don't like her?
Why? I mean, I can answer that question.
Oh, sure. I guess I mean,
Patrick.
Go ahead.
Patrick, you went to Franciscan.
That's fair. I don't know what you mean by that.
There were many opportunities presented to me in my time in college where I was able to kiss women that I hadn't even spoken to.
Okay.
And I did. And I did. Why? Because I was lonely. I wanted to feel good about myself. They were pretty. They were, like, there's tons and tons and tons of reasons. But if you're of sober mind and you're formed well and you are trying to love God and live a Christian life, then there's really no excuse to do something like that.
Yeah.
I was in a very dark place when I was doing those things. But don't pretend like there's no reason. There's tons.
Just keep a bag of Reese's Pieces in your pocket. You'll be fine.
Or maybe like a gun.
That puts the Thomas Aquinas story to bed, right? Like they send a prostitute up to his room to get him to not want to be.
Have
And
you
he
seen?
just takes out a gun.
There's this reel of Harry Potter in the first movie, which I referenced in the last video, but it's him at the very end, pulling out the Sorcerer's Stone. But instead of him pulling out the Sorcerer's Stone, it's him pulling out a gun. It's so funny, dude. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I have it saved.
Me, not Hermione.
Yo. I think the caption was like me getting my 100% discount at the store, and it's like my coupon for my 100% discount. And he pulls out a gun. Oh, it's like edited. It's really funny.
Why does that hit? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'll send it to you. I got a few reels that I got to send you tonight, but we've done as much as we can do. We've done as much as we can do tonight.
We've helped all the people that we can.
If you have a question, go to our Discord. We have a great community on Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an app where you can be in a community and talk about a lot of different things with that community. So we have memes. We talk about Catholic stuff. We talk about jobs. We talk about sports. We talk about whatever's on people's minds. It's podcast.
One-stop shop for all things Catholic internet.
And it's
with a little crunchy twinge.
bit.ly/crunch discord is the place that you want to be. And you can submit questions for this Dating Corner podcast. So
if you dare,
head on down.
If you dare.
Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
Remember I think if you could take one thing away from this podcast, think about yourself less.
Indeed.
If you can think about yourself less and Jesus more, you will become a saint.
You're in business.
Everything else will follow.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us, and we'll be praying for you. We'll see you all next week.